And I was like, is this the first reference in any book to the Grim Reaper, the classic image of death? And I don't have answers for you. I wish I did. I'm too lazy to Google it. You go and do it yourself. But I reckon that's the Grim Reaper there, Old Bean.
Welcome to the Bible in 1 Year podcast, brought to you by two Brits and a Bible.
Today is day 238, covering Jeremiah 49 and 50.
So we're both pretty close on today's episode. I'm on 49 verse 1 and Mr. Bevan is on 49 verse 3. And I was just saying, we haven't had a rock off in ages, which I'm losing. So I kind of want to do some more to try and restore that, but also it could get a lot worse. So whatever, here we are. So my chapter 49 verse 1, I kind of answered it for myself really, because it was talking about why has Molech taken possession of Gad, and I was like, Moloch, that's the god that requires child sacrifice and stuff, but actually it's not, because the Apologetics Bible suggests that alternative names for Moloch in this instance are Milcom, Malcram, or Molech with a CH, not a K, and so it kind of wasn't that, all in all.
Okay. I mean, are they different gods? I wasn't sure if Moloch might just have different spellings, or I don't know.
Potentially.
Yeah. They were dead keen on what infanticide and burning their children back then. So it's possible that even if it was Malcolm in the middle and Moloch on the end, that they were still burning them. But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because there are so many fake gods and just made up stuff, and it's just amazing, really.
Yeah.
49 verse 3 then, so wail Heshbon, for Ai is destroyed, cry out, you inhabitants of Rabbah, put on sackcloth and mourn, rush here and there inside the walls, for Molech will go into exile together with his priests and officials. So it's just scary, the exile part. So, there is, I would say, some pretty decent evidence out there that there are still people in Satanist circles and things like that still worship gods like Moloch today, or maybe it's Moloch or whatever. Like, they worship these crazy gods. And whilst we can destroy that to some extent with, facts and logic and when we find people killing their children, stopping that and whatever, they do often go into exile rather than being fully decimated. And that's the sort of thing with Satan and the darkness, right? If you expose it to the light, then it sort of just retracts back a bit further, like a freaking cockroach. It's disturbing. And, just that made me realize that's really the second coming, isn't it? Because we can't finish the job without God. So God's coming back and he's going to finish the job once and for all. And that's the second coming.
True. Very true. That's cool, man. I like it. I'm not saying that's good, but I like it.
There's better on the horizon.
I don't doubt it. So 49:10, I love it. It kind of explained it pretty well here in the Apologetics Bible, because 49:10 is about stripping Esau bare, uncover his secret places. He'll try and hide, he won't be able to. His descendants will be destroyed, he'll no longer exist. And I love it because it says, during the exile into the post-exilic period, Arabs overran the land of Edom, descendants of Esau, and the Edomites retreated to Judah, where they became known as the Idumeans. At the time of the Maccabees, John Hyrcanus compelled the Idumeans to become Jews and submit to circumcision. Herod the Great, ruler of Judea at the time of Jesus' birth, was an Idumean. When the Romans subdued the Judeans, in AD 70, the Idumeans ceased to exist, although the Herodian dynasty ruled elsewhere until the death of Herod Agrippa in AD 100. Jeremiah's prophecy that Esau would exist no longer was eventually fulfilled. And it's cool because there are so many prophecies that go on in Isaiah and in Jeremiah that it's like, all right, cool. But to actually see the historic proof that those prophecies came true is pretty banging.
That's awesome, dude. I freaking love that. I think that's so interesting. And that is good. Let's see if there's better. And obviously partial reward to the Apologetics Bible, really, there. Anyways, so I had like a more general 49. I guess I'll throw that in the mix here. So I don't know the context well enough, but I feel that there are references in these cities that would have been known at the time. So for example, one of them, it talks about how God's going to break the bow. And so it seems that the punishments, God's justice, fits each particular region and each particular city and maybe what it's known for or the sins it committed. I just thought that was kind of a cool thing that someone could investigate. I didn't go deeper into that at the time, but it seemed kind of cool.
Like it. Yeah, probably. Couldn't any
above our pay grade, but you know.
Yeah, gonna say that. All right, so 49:16. I realize I've got a few points to make and we're already halfway through this episode, so better crack on. 49:16, this is what the Lord says. Am I in the right bit? No, of course I'm bloody not. What the heck am I chatting?
49:16, was it 50:16? No.
I think it was, mate. You do a point. I'll see if I can work out what the heck I'm chatting about.
50 verse 8. Flee out of Babylon, leave the land of the Babylonians, and be like the goats that lead the flock. First of all, I'm sure this wasn't intended, but goats to me is GOAT, greatest of all time, that the greatest of all time lead the flock. But it's also just a cool image. The goats are leading the sheep. And so goats obviously stick out from the sheep, right? If you're a goat in a crowd of sheep, you're going to look quite odd. And that just is a perfect description of not only the prophets who were really goats, like really sticking out for their time and culture, but also increasingly Christians in this culture, right? Like we stand out. We are not the same as the sheep, quite literally. So there you go. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Have you got it sorted now, Pete?
Yeah, mate. So the issue I had is the point I'm making now is from the Apologetics Bible again, and I was looking in my my NIV. So 49:16, it's basically chatting about how Edom is going to be wiped out, and it's another one of those where actually Petra in Edom is indeed still deserted, except for tourists and passers-by, because it says that Edom will become an object of horror, so no one will live there or dwell in it. So that is still true today. I was just looking in my wrong Bible.
Gotcha. Love that. Well, there you go. You can go off for a while on 49 because I'm in 50 at this point.
Smashing. All right, I'll try and be pretty rapid with this one. 49:31. Arise and attack a nation at ease, which lives in confidence, declares the Lord. A nation that has neither gates nor bars. Its people live far from danger. So these people live far from danger and they have such confidence, but their confidence is in their geographical location instead of being confident in their God. Because it's like, where does our confidence lie? Our confidence should lie in God. It's not saying that their issue wasn't having bars and gates. It's just they were confident in the wrong thing. So should we have confidence in God, not in our spot?
That's good. Keep going.
Christy. Then in 49, 38, 37 sort of place, I will pursue them with the sword until I have made an end of them. And then the next chapter, I will restore the fortune of Elam in the days to come. And again, it's this whole thing of like, God gives, God takes away. And I love it because God can destroy something, but he was the one that made it in the first place. He can just make it back again. And so when he says, I will wipe something out, he could wipe something out. He could just as easily rebuild it to where it was. So and it's like, if you need to accept the blessings of God, you need to be prepared to accept the troubles that can come in and around it as well.
Love that. Love that. I'm going to do 50 verse 16. I know you got a couple more in 50. I think one of them ties into what I was saying about goat and sheep, actually. But cut off from Babylon the sower and the reaper with his sickle at harvest. Because of the sword of the oppressor, let everyone return to their own people. Let everyone flee to their own land. So that's Jeremiah 50 verse 16. I love this image of the reaper with his sickle. And I was like, is this the first reference in any book to the Grim Reaper, the classic image of death? And I don't have answers for you. Well, I wish I did. I'm too lazy to Google it. You go and do it yourself. But I reckon that's the Grim Reaper there, Old Bean. And I think that's quite cool.
Maybe. I was going to try and Google it. We don't really have time.
No.
Maybe we'll find that out tomorrow for you if Google says anything.
Yeah.
A couple of little points I was going to make here was in Jeremiah 50 verse 4 and onwards. In this time, declares the Lord, people of Israel and Judah will basically come together and seek the Lord together with tears. And it just says hardship will bring people together. It sucks, but actually sometimes we need that struggle to bring us to a place of togetherness that we can't get to by ourselves.
Absolutely. Hardship makes you holy.
You got anything else to say? Or are we going to just crack on with it there then? Why not, eh?
Yeah.
Smash in. Tomorrow's readings are Jezza 51 and 52, the end of Jeremiah. See you then.
See you then. If you want to, share this with someone. If you don't want to, get off our channel forever.
Don't
do that. Come back tomorrow. And add 2 Brits and a Bible if you want to follow us on social media.